Good morning there, it's Josh here. What's the time? 8:30. I'm on my final mug of coffee, as you can see here, waking me up. I am in my video fleece, which I will wash at some point. Um, I'm just too tight, really. It's not cold enough to put the heating on just as yet, and not warm enough not to wear this, so that is what you get. Um, Hopefully, I am awake enough to whiz through the 3 o'clock at Ludlow. Hurrah! Winter jumping is here properly, nearly. This is run on good to firm, not quite soft and heavy, which is where I tend to do best. But it's great to have these kind of decent midweek handicap chases being run, and they will, of course, be run more regularly as the season progresses and as the weeks move forward. Always something to look forward to. Always a great spectacle and a puzzle to try and solve. You will see on the free post, if I click on it here, I fancy at the odds, at the odds, at the odds, price, price, price. It's all about price. Heist and Bob Tucker, who I think look a few points too big to my dodgy eyes. And why is that? Well, having looked through all of these horses in this race, has a pretty strange feel to it, a kind of something's going to win by default almost. I don't think there's anything you can be overly confident on, certainly not those that are near the top of the market in the kind of 6-1 or shorter bracket. And I really do need to snap out and snap back into my habit of the kind of 8-1 plus the 8-1 to kind of 25-1 zone for these handicap chasers, which is where I have had the most success historically, profit wise, which is important. And I really do need to start making a case for these and not going on shorties at kind of 7-2 and 5-1, which when there are however many runners here, 13, the 13 runner fields, I kind of want to be going 8-1 plus really and seeing if I can make a case for any horses that are a few points too big. So let's jump straight to Heist, who looks solid. He's only 7. He hasn't kind of really been out of form this summer. He does have a bit of kind of October and what you'd call winter form, as well as some solid summer form. At this time of year, those two kind of summer form and winter form clash. Summer horses, winter horses. He comes here on the back of a decent run. That was an okay run last time out in a conditions hurdle where they crawled. I don't think he had the class of the front two or the pace, but he did keep going and ran as if he is a horse still in form. That handicap hurdle looks like he kind of got outpaced, and well, I'm just going to put a line through that. That run at Perth, a bit more of a concern, but again, Creevy Tennant got an easy lead there. This horse does need plenty to drop right, which is why you want the price. But a repeat of that Hexham run for me, certainly that Ludlow run here when he won in October last year, would put him in the mix. And if I click on this profile, these are all, so this is in horse race space, and I use GG's, a mix of the GG's race cards and this profiler, I should say, for the horses, so I can get a feel across the kind of different indications and different areas, kind of whether or not they suit race conditions. It caught my eye that he's 2 from 2 on good to firm. Whether or not it is going to be good to firm at Ludlow, it might kind of be on good. We'll see. But if it is actually as fast as described, he is one of the few in here which will definitely handle it over fences. You have to excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. The rest pattern is fine. The time of year is fine. The jockey is new, but Colin Farrell has ridden for Griffin before, and he's ridden Portrait King a few times over the national fences. So I kind of see that as a positive enough booking. So he looks solid. He ticks all the boxes in terms of his suitability to race conditions. He is on a career high handicap mark, but importantly, when you're looking at a horse to back at a price, he has yet to prove that he cannot win from this handicap mark, and it's only his 13th chase. So the jury is out on that. It may well be that he is handicapped up to the hilt, but at 14-1, and he has won in this price range before, I'm happy to take a poke and take a chance. I think if I click on the Instant Expert, you will see a kind of solid kind of line of green here within GG's. there is that rating issue, and he did have a kind of decent claim on him when he's won before, but I am not willing to say yet that he cannot win from this handicap mark. It's a question, he has to prove it, but that is why he won the price. He ticks lots of boxes here, including proven stamina and course form, and stamina is a big question for some of these. The niggle, again, which I think is built into the price, is the fact that he can be held up. On this ground, he can get outpaced. The positive is that it's a big field. I think there should be enough pace pushers where they won't crawl. And in any case, he is a solid jumper, and when he's on form, he just keeps going. So as they turn into the home straight, I will be living in hope, if he is a bit far back, that those in front, quite a few doubtful stayers, will just fall into a heap and he will just keep galloping past. And that stamina, that kind of decent recent form and recent consistency, and the fact he's only 7, will help him keep going. I thought 14 to 1 looked kind of, well, I wouldn't have been shocked if I'd have seen him at kind of 8 to 1, really, given that he is just a solid yardstick who could still have some upside potential. So that's why we've gone for him. Big price when doing what I should have done probably in a couple of races at Warwick, and that's properly focus on looking at the market and working your way down the biggest priced horses first and seeing if you can make a case, and kind of stopping when you think you can is an approach of many. I looked through this race before looking at the market really, and then went through with the ideas in my head to see if I could make a case, and these two at a price I thought I could. The other one is Bob Tucker, and I will show you the one thing which caught my eye on Bob Tucker. If I click the profile, this is all of his runs and all of his career, is that yellow line here for the month. You will see that he's 3 from 4 in October. He has form on a sounder surface, but his best form is generally on decent, good ground. That may explain why he tends to do well in October. He then goes off the boil a bit, or may well hit a handicap mark that is too high, because he wins generally in October. Then it takes him a while for that handicap mark to come down, running on maybe kind of softer than ideal conditions, and then he normally, he has sparked up in January before, but will normally then do well in April and May again. And looking at handicaps, you can see there. So yeah, he's solid. He's got good form after a break, so I'm not so worried about fitness. He is in the right price range. You can see in handicaps, if he drifts, if he's sent off at 14 to 1 or bigger, I won't be holding out much hope. He does have a class question. I think the handicap mark is okay. Again, he doesn't look generously handicapped, but again, I've kind of gone for another solid one in conditions. This one's a bit older, but arguably that Ascot second there in a veterans chase, it was a veterans chase, but that and a few other runs, that run at Sandown, that win at Kempton, that was kind of a year ago, last May. But they are decent runs, and he hacked up there off 125, and he's only a couple of pounds higher than that here today. But it is his record fresh. It's his record in October. The fact that Charlie Longton generally does well at this time of year, and his are running okay. Sean Bowen has been booked. He knows the horse well, so that was kind of at the top of my mind also. And I just thought, again, he looked kind of 4 points maybe bigger than ideal. He was kind of 12 to 1 and kind of nilled that as I started looking at the race into 11 to 1. I just thought he looked interesting. He can race prominently as well, and I hope he does race prominently, so that has both angles covered. And he's a proven stayer. He's a proven decent ground lover. And I just thought he looked more solid than quite a few in these. If he runs his race, I know he'll run through the line. I know he'll generally complete and jump pretty well, especially around here. So with any luck, touch wood, he runs his race, and I just thought those two looked overpriced. So that's those. I won't really, well, I don't want this video to go on too long. Always on the Run does hit one of my strategies within the members club. I've had a small kind of saver with that bank head on, if that makes sense, as in I follow those generally systematically, and I've had a kind of small bet on him pretty much to cover my stakes on the other two. I don't think he'll stay, or I should say he still has a stamina question. The £7 claim might help from Tom George's son, who looks, he is okay and has had a good record in 100 chases and has a few runs under rules. I also think there's a chance on the pace front that he gets an easy lead. It depends what Forever Field does, but I'm not sure. That was leading at a steady pace, and he has stamina questions, so I'd be surprised if they blast off in front with him. I should think Always on the Run might get his own way out front, but then again, there are some pace pushers, which will help both of the selections. So we'll see. I thought if he did get an easy lead, that might help him get home, or give him a better chance in any case. An 8-1 is okay, but not good enough for me to put my tipping stake on. And if he didn't hit these stats within my members post in terms of for Tom George with handicap chasers at Ludlow, I wouldn't have considered him, I don't think. There's some shorter price ones. The Paul Nicholls horse might hack up, but 5-1 was just a bit too short for me. He has been running and dossing in kind of summer novice chases, summer novice handicap chases, and that always has a doubt for me in small fields. He could be anything, including not very good. He does have to prove his stamina in this kind of field, surrounded by horses going at a decent pace, which he may well do. But his price looked about right. It didn't look overly generous. I won't fall off my seat if and when he hacks up, but this is a game of price. And backing that type of horse regularly at 5-1 or shorter would see me in the poorhouse. I have no doubt about that. So he'll run his race. But he could bump into some kind of more solid, more sturdy, more consistent, more hardy battlers that are used to these big fields and going the pace they may go at. Who else do I want to mention? Forever Field, I wasn't too fussed. Again, summer, novice chasers, novice handicap chasers. He has stamina to prove. He's gone off short price twice in 4-runner and 3-runner fields and hasn't done anything. Again, he might hack up, but I was happy to leave him. The other one I will mention, I suppose, and that is the main danger, which is Belmont, I think. I think he, with a claim, he's within a ratings range where he can win. And he's in form. This time last year, he won 2 back-to-back, having returned after a kind of similar break to when he won last time. I would not be shocked if he won again or ran well. But I can make a case, and this is the point, I can make a case in my own head for 2 horses that were twice the price, and really, that was that. He will run well. I'm not sure how strong that race was the last day. It fell apart a bit. Fort Worth sadly took a fatal fall, although he may have been starting to tire. You had a Kim Bailey horse who he overtook, and Kim's haven't been going great. And he kind of plugged on and outstayed and just was kind of last one standing, I suppose, to a point. But he is solid. He likes the track. He likes the ground. The trainer is in form. He's a prominent racer. And yeah, will not talk you out of supporting him if you think his price of 6-1 is decent. I got him wrong last time, thinking kind of I think he was 5-1 last time. I thought that wasn't overly generous, and he was backed in a couple of points and won quite well to suggest his morning price was decent. But yeah, for me, like I said, I can make a case for 2 others at a big price. And if I went with Belmont and one of Bob Tucker or Heist won at those prices, I would be livid with myself. And I can live with Belmont winning and me not backing him, because mentally I can make the case. I can see why he would win and it wouldn't be a shock. So I can live with it. He probably is the most solid option in this race, without doubt, actually. Hardy will be there and should run his race. So yeah, I won't talk you out of backing him, but like I said, the reasons he's left is simply because I could make a case for 2 others that were more than twice the price. And that's that really. So yeah, that's that race. You've seen the pace map there. I think those 2 hopefully should give me a run for my money. Hopefully Bob Tucker improves on his October record. I know he's 10, I know he's getting on, but a lot in here have many, many questions to answer and need to prove stamina, need to prove their actual level of form and ability in a race like this. Excuse me. I think I need to have a lemon sip. So yeah, that's that. We tick rounds to nearly 15 minutes, which I wanted to do this in about 7 in my own head, but again, there we go. That's as short as these ones are going to be when going through a race that quickly. So yeah, that's the case for those. Do that as you please. By all means, comment, say anything other horses you may mention, you may like. By all means, fire away. And yeah, if you back anything in this race, good luck with your bets. It should be a good watch. And yeah, until the next time, this is Josh saying bye for now.